Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about things that we can do to pass the time and perhaps be better Americans. First of all, I want to say there are a lot of stories out there about people just being jerks during this time, taking more than they need. I have seen a couple of posts about free take what you need things being torn down or ravaged, emptied out. I also want to point out that there are a lot more positive posts about people coming together and being good people during this time. I think tragedy and times of hardship tend to bring us closer together than at least the mainstream media reports on. So overall, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Let's talk about what we can do from home to make sure our kids are getting a good learning experience. As a dad, I think about that. Yeah, they have their e-learning. I'm sure most places that your kids may attend have instituted some sort of e-learning. Michigan City's is not bad. I will say the testing aspect of it probably looks like it could use a little bit of work, but the teachers do seem to be engaged, and teachers are a necessary part of our system. Hi, Sean. Thank you for joining me. Quick little recap. I'm going to talk about some things we can do for the kids that are at home. I'm going to talk about the vote by mail thing that I actually showed you a little bit ago. And I'm going to point out, you hadn't joined yet, that there are a lot of stories out there about people doing some just heinous stuff. There's some posts going around about people ripping off little areas that are set up for take what you need. But I think there are a lot more positive posts and a lot more positive stories about people that are coming together to help one another. There's a page that I follow that it's nothing but people talking about how to help one another, how to, this is out, but I can get it here. Hey, do you need anything? Hey, I can bring you that. I've seen people post and say, hey, I need this. And there's just a flood of good-hearted people that go out of their way to make sure that these people have what they need. I saw a post about a truck driver that was having a hard time getting a shower. And an individual was like, hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I have a card you can use at I think it was the Pilot or the Petro, that you can get a free shower. I'll also cover your meal. I mean, America comes together. America comes together. I was gonna talk about ways we can keep our kids occupied. And one thing that I've seen is, I linked it, but many of you maybe haven't seen it. NASA opened up their entire video library. Well, at least their photos. I don't know about the whole video library, but the photographic library they opened up and have removed the copyrights. So you can feel free to download it, post it, look at it. There are some absolutely amazing images out there. Personally, I wish they'd, release the classified stuff, but one step at a time, right? This is my wife's sloth mug. Eat, sleep, nap, repeat. Got to give a shout out to her. So There's a good thing called, let's see, it's virtualfieldtrips.org. Now, I checked it out a little bit. I didn't get a chance to get deep into it. I'm not promoting them. I don't know anything about the place. But virtual field trips, I think, are a really good thing to do right now. If you have a little free time and you're wondering what to do, kind of take a break from all the bad news out there. You can see pretty much anywhere that is on the planet at this point. And we have Google Earth, but these are actually like guided tours through museums and other areas that just expand your mind, expand your learning. Um, there are some interesting things going on with this election now. So apparently, the Indiana Election Commission has decided that they're going to authorize uh, vote by mail for the primary and potentially for the general, but right now it's just focused on the primary. I gotta say, I do want to see more voter access. I do want to see people that perhaps would be at risk if they came to a polling location. I'd like to see them have an opportunity to vote by remotely in some way, shape, or form. But we've seen it many, many times in the past. Voter fraud is very real. And there are very unscrupulous people that will take any opportunity that they can to tamper with elections. We've seen it. Judicial Watch has filed suit against many, many areas across the country that have had blatant voter fraud between not purging their voter rolls. You know, we've seen people that, over 116 years old that are voting. Come on. And not just like, one person, because they do exist, but, people that were born in in the 1800s that are still voting. Come on. Let's be real here. I want to see how the commission is intending to deal with issues like this. We have a very unique situation here. We've never had the country shut down to this extent for when we're approaching a primary election. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to handle that? Unrestricted vote by mail is a very, very slippery slope. If we had some way, perhaps, to vote remotely with some sort of, I don't know, maybe something tied into the driver's license system of Indiana that could verify your information and verify you were actually the voter. I don't know. It just tossing ideas out there. Unfortunately, all these things take time to put forth. Now we've seen elections. Now I don't know about congressional, but we've seen local elections that have been swayed just by a small number of absentee votes that were, interestingly enough, suddenly produced at the last moment. I can look those up and give you a link. I'll link them in the comments below after the video's done. But again, I worry about voter fraud. I'm a huge proponent for voter ID to start with. I don't think that it's that much to ask for you to have an ID or a driver's license. Let's just stick with ID though. Maybe you don't want to drive. You need an ID to do just about anything in this country. You need an ID to file for benefits. You need an ID to go to the doctor. You need an ID for everything. Indiana even actually has programs in place that your first ID will be covered by the state if you don't have enough money for it. How much more do you want us to do to get you an identification? I mean, it's an issue. It's an issue. Voter fraud has been ongoing for quite a while, and I don't see anything that's going to keep it from being at risk for this primary. Now, the wife and I were talking about it before, and she said, "Okay, so what do you think will happen Like, are you going to be satisfied with the results? Yeah, of course, of course. A lot of people don't seem to understand this. I've even been told nobody's going to remember you when this is over. Good, good. Because if I don't win, I'm not doing this to be rich and famous. I'm doing it because if if we don't start getting people into office that actually care about their constituents, that actually care about our country, uh, we're 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 headed to some serious problems. I love this country with all my heart. I I've seen more of it than most people. I can say that. Uh, I, I've seen 48 of the 50 states personally, and this country is just amazing. It really is. And until you go from one end of it to the other, you don't really realize how massive the United States really is size wise. Thousands of miles across, and 1,500 miles roughly from here down to Louisiana, 1,300. Uh, it's a huge country, and the variation from one end of this country, from the rural area to the metropolitan, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South, it really is like going from one country to another as far as Europe goes, because because they're run differently, but they're different people are drawn to different areas of the country. I mean, California is an example. There are plenty of conservatives in California, but the liberals love it. The liberals love it. At least they did until they started having to pay, way more taxes. And now we've got, flight from California to more liberal areas. Um, I would like to see better polls. I just read something about how Fox News had run Biden versus Trump, right, and Biden was winning. Uh, I would like to see some good, honest poll numbers because I find it very hard to believe that a guy who can't remember which one's his wife and which one's his sister and gets lost. Just to cut myself off for a moment, because I don't know if you've seen some of the videos out there with Biden, but uh, these are the ones that his team approved. These are the ones that they actually said, okay, that's good enough. Let's post that. Imagine how many takes they went to. I'm not talking about the live ones. I'm talking about the ones that like he's posted on his site and stuff. Imagine the ones that got cut. I have to wonder how many takes did they go through before they finally said, okay, okay, we're just gonna have to run with this because that's enough. And he does. He makes great material for memes and jokes. But I would legitimately be concerned if that man was in charge of the country. I really would. He My cat is at the door. I want to come in. He is just out of touch. At this point, it's gone beyond making fun of him. I think. I think it's gotten to the point where as I've seen some say, elder abuse. At what point do you say, okay, guy, I feel bad for you. Just take an L. But it is what it is. So I've been chasing down a couple of stories about this relief package that's being passed now. Holy, hundreds of pages long, of course. It'll take days before all of this gets digested and put out there for us. It's not even passed yet. Let's be clear about that. It still has to go. It has to get passed by the Senate and then go to the House, and the House has to pass it. Then it goes to the President. The President signs it. So we're none of this is going to happen overnight. I am not putting out every little rumor that I hear about this bill. There are plenty of that out there. I do try to stay on top of the news about it, and if I have anything solid, I will share it immediately. Just like I think around midnight or so, maybe around there. I think it was around midnight that I heard that the Senate had actually agreed that they had, yes, we have a deal, and There was a story put out about that. I made sure to hop on and post that. But if it's not confirmed, I'm not going to send it out there. There is far too much misinformation going around, not just about the election or the bill or the virus, but just in general. So I would like to believe that everything that I post has sources to back it up. Um, if you have any recommendations or suggestions, now I got to give a shout out to Sean. Sean does a very good job of keeping me informed. He sends me information about bills and things that are going on in Congress, so I appreciate that. There's your shout out. So that said, what are you looking forward to when this is over and the rules are relaxed and people can go out? What's the thing that you're most looking forward to? Let me know in the comments. Uh, I would say probably for me, it's just a nice restaurant sit down meal with the family and friends and just getting together. One of the most frustrating things, I will say this, one of the most frustrating things is I was asked, hey, when are you going to come out to a particular location? I'd like to meet you. And it's like, do I do that? And obviously the answer is no. That would be very irresponsible. I'm not going to go out and meet a bunch of voters right now, despite the fact that I really, really want to. Uh, let's face it, door knocking is the single best way to get your name out there and meet the voters. They can look you in the eyes and tell, oh, okay, this guy's legit, or, because when you read somebody's website, usually these sites are developed and produced by either a team of people or someone completely unconnected to the candidate themselves. With very, very few exceptions, the vast majority of all of my social media posts, all of my website information, everything I wrote, and all of my survey answers, all of my Ballotpedia things, that's important. And I think that the importance of that is overlooked by a lot of people, because I think it's really important that you hear from the candidate themselves. I think it's really important that you hear what this person actually thinks, actually believes. Um, I I don't see that enough. And if it is them saying, "Hey, this is me," you don't know when it isn't them anymore. I filled out a survey for Vote 411, led by the League of Women Voters, which that one obviously got canceled too. We were going to have a forum/debate. Uh, in this survey that I filled out, it's kind of a survey, kind of like Ballotpedia, where you give your answers and whatnot. And it asked, what do you plan on doing to keep in touch with voters? It'll be going live soon for those who haven't seen it yet. But what do you plan to do to make sure that the voters of your district stay connected, right? Just to ensure that their voices are heard. I said one of the things that I think is really important is, even my 83-year-old grandmother has a smartphone now. Social media is more than just putting your platform out there. Hey, yay guns, or whatever your thing is. Better healthcare, blah blah blah. It's also an opportunity like this to talk directly to the voters and say, hey, this is who I am. I'm not pretentious. I'm just like you. I'm no better than you. I'm the same. I think that we need more of that. I think that we need to utilize technology so that people who maybe can't get out to a town hall or a meet and greet or something like that has the opportunity to really connect with a voter. Uh, and I think that we need to think about more ways to involve people in connecting with their elected representatives. I love seeing the people that want to get involved and are like, hey, what can you tell me about this? There's one guy that contacted me who's doing a graphic for all of the Republicans and where they stand on various issues. He asked me for my stance on some things. I will be posting my response. I got to make sure that it's okay with him for me to share his information. If it's not, then I'll just block his name off. But he's going to be doing an infographic that shows this person believes this person believes that. But again, he said he's having problems getting in touch with some of the candidates. He didn't give me names, I didn't ask, but I think that that's unfortunate, especially now. I mean, come on, now at least you should have time to fill out your surveys and answer people, right? You would think. Uh, I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more of these candidates telling us who they really are, not just what they think, not just, their stance on things, but, hey, this is me in a real way. I hope that this election at least will get that opportunity to see more about who these people are when the camera's not on them, when the lights go down, when they're not, holding some form of public event, but just in their house being themselves. This is who I am. I'm the same guy. I might, dress up in a suit, but I don't change what I say. I don't change who I am. I'm just me. I'm just Dion, and I've been told for many years that I should become a comedian. I don't know about being a comedian, but I definitely think that I have an opportunity to connect with people and show them that there's a better way to do things. Let's see here. I think what I was trying to think of ideas, right, of things that I could talk about and answer questions and all that, which is always a part of it. If anybody has a question, by all means, don't hesitate to ask. But I think that I'm going to focus less. There will be those that are politically like this tonight. The vote by mail thing is big. So I think that that's something that definitely needed to be talked about. But I'm gonna spend more time talking about like things unrelated to politics and unrelated to the COVID-19, and just focus on who I am, my daily interactions with my kids, what we do, what we play, but also various things about my life, what I've been through. I will tell you that my dad wasn't around when I was a kid at all. I had an absentee father. My parents got a divorce very shortly after I was born. My dad was a raging alcoholic. He had kids well before me, and I was actually his youngest. He stopped after me for whatever reason. I guess he had finally achieved perfection. I'm kidding. He wasn't around when I was a kid, but my uncle was, his brother, my uncle Andrew, and I mentioned him in my Ballotpedia survey. He was the dad that I believe every little boy needs. He stepped up into that place. He didn't have to, but he took me fishing. He took me out on the boat. He taught me about what respect means. He taught me about respecting my mother, respecting women, treating them like they should be treated, which is as equal, different, but equal. I see all this stuff about equality, and one thing that was funny was going around. I'll have to get the link for it, but an independent panel of some sort decided that most of the draft would be fine for women, and I saw a lot of women was suddenly like, wait, that's not the kind of equality we want. It is what it is. But my uncle Andrew, he taught me how to be a better person, a better man. He was a very kind, very devout man, but he didn't really force religion on me. Religion was a very interesting part of my childhood. I'll save that for another video, but uh, he really stepped in as dad, and my grandparents, which was my father's and uncle's dad and his wife, were very, very Cajun, like very Acadian, Cajun French. They had a very strong accent, which I shared. I said in the last video that I did when I first moved up here, I had to try really hard to suppress the accent and get rid of it. It took me a while, but they had a very, very thick down the Maya accent, and it sometimes was very hard for me to stop myself from beginning to talk like them, especially once I moved away and then came back and visit because the accent was so thick. They, my whole family from that side, almost my father, my uncle, all my grandparents over there, they all passed when I was in my 20s for my mother and father, but my grandparents had passed previously. But one of the things that my uncle Andrew, which essentially I basically consider him my father, and there are rumors, but that's another thing. One of the core values that he taught me is that a man should take care of his family, and it wasn't just about the wife and the kids that you have at home. It was your other family too, your very close friends, the ones that you choose your family as well. It isn't just blood relations, but the people that you choose to be around can sometimes be even more of a family member than the people that you have to be around. I learned that from him because he was very, very good to the people around him, and I try to carry that through. There are times when sometimes I give a little too much, and the wife will be like, "Okay, that's enough." But I try to be generous when I have it, but there are those obviously always that will take advantage of that, and you have to be on guard for that. But I think it says a lot about people that are there for you when things are the hardest. Those are the people that obviously will be there for you when things are the best. And those are the people that I think don't get enough credit. Your true friends, the ones that you can pick up the phone and call in the middle of the night. Mine is, his name is Jim, and he has called me at stupid o'clock in the morning, and I've come to him, and I've had to do the same. He used to help me fix my Camaro. I had a Camaro addiction for a number of years. He would he would help me come out to the gas station or the side of the road or wherever I was where something had happened, and help me fix my car again. But luckily, I was able to get clean from the Camaro addiction. Much as I still like them, when I was talking about before I got the truck that I have, the Terrain, I was talking about, man, I think I'm going to get one of those new Camaros. And he was like, please, please, for the love of all that is holy, get something practical. No more Camaros. And I do it just to mess with him. I'm not going to get a Camaro, but it is entertaining. Those are the true friends. Those are the people that no matter what, you can count on. If you truly need them, they'll be there. There are a lot of people out there that pretend to be your friend. There are a lot of people out there that will do everything they can to ingratiate themselves to you, that will pretend to be something that they're not. And sometimes they'll even help you when you need it once or twice. But then when you really need them, when the chips are down. And I'm not talking about borrowing money. I'm talking about, because some people just don't have the money to loan, and that's perfectly okay. Not everything in this life is about money. In fact, I wish far less could revolve around money. I'm talking about those that are like, hey, I really need you to do this for me on this date, plenty of notice. And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. And then when it comes, they forgot, or it wasn't that important to them. I'm not, for what it's worth, I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just saying there are a lot of people out there that pretend to be what they're not. And that's something that we see a lot in, our elected officials for sure. But I've always been a little leery of those that were far too friendly, and I see that that's going to serve me well. I've already been people that were like, oh yeah, I completely support you, and then do everything they can to not. So let's just leave it at that. I hope that if nothing else, this time that we're spending with social distancing allows us to really do our research on not just who these people are, but the things that are really happening in our government. And there's a lot to learn. I know I've put the endorsement out there from Disarm the Deep State, so there's no question that I consider myself a Q believer, but there's so much to learn. You can spend hours, days, weeks digging through information and logs and websites and just tons of information and barely make a dent. The Google censors are down. Now is a really good time to start digging in and learning about some of the things that have been going on with our government and what we can do about it. And one of the things we can do about it is start getting rid of some of these people. Stop voting for people that tell you what they think you want to hear, and let's really learn about who these people are, what they've done in their lives. Just because someone has a college degree, for example, doesn't make them a smart person. And just because someone has done some things to help a few people doesn't make them a good person. Some of the worst people on the planet, Hillary Clinton, have, allegedly run foundations and charities. And if you look at what really happened in Haiti, for example, start there. Do some research if you're not already aware. Look at what the Clintons actually did. Look how much of that money actually went to Haiti. Give you a hint, almost none. Just because someone appears to be a good person doesn't mean they are. So with that, all I can say is do your research. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, and I will be uploading this to my channel for those that missed it. So God bless you, and God bless the USA.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2020. Dion's Daily Dose. All rights reserved.